Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Stream Dialogue. We have some news coming out of the continent. We focus on West Africa today. Um, of course, we start off with Nigeria, Tinubu. Um, this guy just seems to invent new ways, seems to uh, invent ways or new ways of making the lives of Nigerians miserable. This guy just come here to just come on this earth to make Nigerians so life so hard. So Tinubu have a introduced a 5% fossil fuel surcharge or tax shaped, and this is shaped by Western green energy agenda. Uh, this is Western green energy agenda pushed that are being pushed, which leave Nigerians facing uh, rising costs in living, of course, and limited alternatives. Nigeria, if you don't know, Nigeria, I think Nigeria has the largest gas reserve in Africa. Nigeria is actually the largest oil producer in Africa. I think they're the 16th or 15th largest oil producer in the world, but yet still, Nigeria just keep having fuel shortages. Dangote, the richest man in Africa, built one of the world's largest oil refineries in Africa or in the world, and still he was being prevented from selling oil to the Nigerian market. Also, Nigeria doesn't produce enough like electricity. Nigeria can supply its citizens 24-hour electricity. This is a major oil producer, a major gas producer, and the oil and the electricity it produces cannot, you know, meet the needs of its citizens. Uh, and we can talk about the insecurity issues in Nigeria, and also the economic problems of Nigeria. So Tinubu is definitely inventing ways to make the Nigerian people suffer, make causing hardship for the people. We hope somebody somebody can fix the issue, if you know what I mean. Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali. If somebody can fix the issue in Nigeria, and Nigerians can fix the Nigerian issue or the Tinubu or the elite issue in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on. Mali files case against Algeria at the International Court of Justice. And this is from Algeria shooting down a Malian drone earlier this year that was in Malian territory. It was actually on a mission, observing movement of terrorists, and there are rumors that there was a uh a terrorist leader, major terrorist leader, who that this drone was monitoring, and the drone was about to neutralize this terrorist leader, and Algeria shot down the Malian drone. And the last time I checked, Mali and Algeria is not at war. Number two, one of the excuses that Algeria made was that the drone entered its airspace, and I think they went on to say the drone entered the airspace before. They made so many excuses that it wasn't coherent. It didn't make any sense. But we know that the Algerian regime, is the major supporter of terrorism, not just in the Sahel but in Africa. in general in West Africa, in Central Africa. Algeria is a major destabilizing force in Africa. They and the French, and even though you hear Algeria and the French always having these diplomatic roles, they always they're expelling diplomatic staff from the French embassy, and the French will do the same. Algeria and France are like this. They work together. France needs Algeria to exploit Africa, and Algeria thinks, and this and this is where a lot of puppets make their mistake. They don't know that they themselves are disposable or discardable. The imperialists will dispose of them whenever they are used up. But yes, Mali has filed a case against Algeria for over the destruction of the Malian drone, and we welcome that. This show how rational and how strategic the Malian revolution is, the transitional government of the CNSP in Mali. They're saying that this was an act of aggression, and this was actually premeditated. Because even if a drone enter your airspace, even President Traore said this during his interview when he made a visit to the Victory Day celebration. When he did an interview, even if the drone enters your airspace, you don't just shoot that drone down. Number one, Mali have never attacked Algeria. Mali have never threatened to attack Algeria. Mali and Algeria is not a war. If a drone enters your airspace, the drone is identified. You call to see, okay, your drone is in our airspace. You call that country. Can your drone, did you even lose control of your drone? Maybe the drone lost control. Maybe they lost control of the drone or something. You don't just shoot the drone down, trying to be tough. And this is the arrogance of a lot of these countries, countries that are, let's be honest, a lot of these countries are very racist towards Africans with darker skin complexion. And Algeria claims to be, Algeria not only are they destabilizing Mali and the Sahel themselves, but they claim to want to, protect a certain population of Mali. But in Algeria, that same population that lives in Mali, the same people live in the south of Algeria. Algeria treat these people like, you go to the south, the way these people are being treated. Algeria are prosecuting these same people that they themselves claim they want to protect. You want to protect Malians more than the Malians themselves, and you're supporting people who are unaliving the same people you claim you want to protect. It doesn't make any sense. And I will tell these puppets who want to cooperate with imperialism. You know, when you look at the case of Syria, it's something to study. In relation with the Turks and the Syrians. But Algeria is no Turkey. That's all I would say about that. But we welcome this. The International Court of Justice is different. It's not the same as the ICC, the International Criminal Court. The International Court of Justice normally make ruling, you know, on like the battery on my iPhone died, so I don't even know where the recording stopped. But still, I think we were at the story of Mali filing a complaint against Algeria, the shooting down of a Malian drone that was about to neutralize the terror. One of the things about living in the United States, you get to meet people from all walks of life, and then you know things might come out. People think differently. when it comes to a, you know, anti-blackness, I would say anti-blackness. If you want to be anti-black, go ahead and be anti-black. Just keep it away from us. So we don't care that. We don't think anybody is superior to us. We don't think we're superior. We don't think we're superior to anyone. So if you want to think that your lack of melanin makes you superior, then good. Go somewhere. We will enjoy our melanin and the sun and whatever. So forget those people. But yes. So moving on to our next story, or I think this is the last story that we will cover in this video. Niger has launched a new airline. So they've launched Niger Air International, and this is a mixed economy company, which I think a mixed economy company would be part of it is state owned and part of it is owned by, I guess, private investors, whether it's local, international. This is what we need. Hopefully, you know, years to come, it can be a fully state-owned company. Nigeria have a lot of resources. Hopefully, they harness their resource to support things like this. Because having a national airline is probably the best thing. Um, Many of us who grew up in Jamaica remember Here Jamaica. Here Jamaica was the thing, of course. And this is with the West. The West doesn't believe in sharing. It doesn't believe that at least the people of the global south, African people, African countries, whether it's Caribbean countries, they shouldn't have anything. Like they want to just control and consume everything. Here Jamaica, of course, was definitely destroyed by imperialist conspiracy, whether it's through the taking out of IMF loans and stuff. That's what led to the destruction of a lot of state industry in Jamaica. But we welcome that from the Nigerian authorities or authority. Um, this is a welcome development. This is a welcome development. This would not be done by the so-called democratically elected puppets. It had to take a revolutionary government to do something like this, and we hope to see stuff like this continue throughout the continent. And one of the things that I think the continent, these government has to do, whether it's Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, and even other countries that are not in the AES, in the Confederation. Yes, it's nice to create these airlines, but combine, partner with other airlines in terms of, let's say, here Burkina will partner with the Niger International Airline, and maybe they can even partner with things like Ethiopian Airline, whether it's Senegalese Airline, and all that stuff to take control of their market. And remember that Air France basically control the airspace of all the flights going in and out, the AES especially. And the French regime, the Macroni regime tried to use Air France as a weapon to economically strangle the AES countries. When the revolution happened, we saw in Burkina Faso, Mali, and even Algeria. We just spoke about Algeria and their support for terrorism, but Algeria pulled some dirty tricks where they will say Air Algiers, the Algerian airline will not, you know, make flights to Bamako or to Mali. So Algeria was behaving the same way the French imperialists behave. But back to Air France, they marked Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali as red zones. So we all know there a lot of people, we have been programmed to recognize red as danger. So danger, these were dangerous areas, so they won't fly to Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. And now they themselves, Air France wants to come back after realizing it was a stupid decision, strategic mistake, of course. But also they're losing hundreds of millions of dollars yearly, or over $100 million yearly, just by losing the access to those markets. So we have to know what we have. And a lot of these airlines, international airlines, when they come in, the price, the price of flights in our country, in these countries, just skyrocket. Yes, a lot of African countries, they have ridiculous taxes. You know, flying from Ghana, I was looking at a flight from Ghana to a Ouagadougou, from Accra to Ouagadougou. There was no direct flight from Accra to Ouagadougou, and the price was crazy. I had to fly, either I fly to Cote d'Ivoire, or I uh flew to, whether I will fly to Togo, in Lome, Togo, and then fly to uh Ouagadougou, or I fly to Europe or the Middle East and then fly back from Ghana, fly to Europe or Middle East and then fly back to Ouagadougou, which is crazy. I wasn't planning on traveling to Burkina Faso, but these are things that I like to do sometimes. Just look at flights, which is ridiculous. It's the same thing in the Caribbean. You know, I, as a Jamaican, it's so difficult for me to pack my bags and say, oh, maybe I should visit a friend in Trinidad. It's impossible. Because number one, you have to use a Western airline. And these Western airlines, you have to have so much, the visa regime, all that stuff. But that's a bit off topic, but still, we welcome this. We hope to see countries like Ghana follow suit. Yes, Ghana have domestic airlines, but still, you need a state-owned airline that can, take you from one capital in the world to another capital in the world, or back to your own capital. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are the updates from Africa this week.